You've heard of a love story.
Well, this is a hate story.
It's about romance between towns and their teams.
It's about rivalry among fans and between cities.
It's about the Cowboys.
And the 49ers.
We've combined to go to 14 Super Bowls.
Between us, we've won 10 Lombardi trophies.
We have a relationship for the ages.
A whole lot in common.
But it wasn't always that way.
The city of San Francisco is rather small. It's 6 miles by 8 miles. Just a little peninsula, and you got bridge attaching things to different things. And when you think of the population of San Francisco, it's not all that large. It's surprising. A lot of diversity, a lot of political diversity.
We would all like to be able to live a simple life, a good life, you know, and like think about moving the whole human race ahead a step or a few steps. And,
or a half a step.
Yeah, or a half a step.
Dallas was more conservative. It's God, football, and business. You know, even starting in the 60s, it was becoming a very booming metropolis. And it was growing more conservative from a political standpoint. I was asked to do a promotion for a film, I think it was in 1970, Martin Luther King from Montgomery to Memphis. And I went on to one of the TV stations, and the person who taped it with me was an anchorman. And, you know, off camera, he asked me how I could be supportive of a guy who was somewhat of a revolutionary. And so that was a little, you know, shocking.
Texas became the quintessential red state. California as a whole is thought of as the quintessential blue state, with San Francisco being the very center of it. I'm thinking of the Merle Haggard saying, "We don't smoke marijuana in Muskogee."
We don't take our trips on LSD. We don't let our hair grow long and shaggy, like the hippies out in San Francisco do.
This was a direct reference to San Francisco, not just California, but San Francisco. So this, too, was part of the context and the background in which this great football, professional football rivalry between the Cowboys and the 49ers arose.
Hello, Mr. Jordan. How are you? How are you?
Our cultures were on different planets in 1970, the year that our football teams collided in the newly merged NFL's first ever NFC Championship game.
Which our Cowboys won, I might add.
The Niners would go back to the NFC Championship the next year.
And once again, they'd lose to the Cowboys.
Lilly had it off to Willard, and before we could say it, Lilly had Willard tangled down in his legs back at the 34.
I think the rivalry came in the first year when we beat them, but the next year we could tell it because it was a little more intense in 1971. 72, they were trying to kill us.
For the third straight year, the Cowboys and the Niners met in the postseason. The same afternoon, the Immaculate Reception happened.
That day, wonders never ceased.
I was maybe 8. I was not quite 9 yet, watching that with my dad. The kickoff, the beginning of the game, Vic Washington gets it and runs it back for a touchdown. And I was thinking, like, oh my God, this is an opportunity here. 1972, I'll never forget it.
Craig Morton started at quarterback for the Cowboys. Late in the fourth quarter, the Niners led 28-13, and clearly, they were feeling pretty good.
Finally, we were going to beat the Cowboys. We had them at home. We were a better team. I'm sitting on the bench, thinking forward to the next playoff game. Unfortunately, Roger Staubach comes in late.
I really hadn't played that much because a separated shoulder kept me out most of the year, but I came back and I was healthy towards the end of the year. Half the people had left the stadium already at that point.
First, Roger led a field goal drive. Then,
by the time we got that touchdown, the fans were coming back in the stadium.
Dallas will kick off. Onside kick.
We had a guy named Tony Fritsch, who was our field goal kicker. He'd been practicing for years, running over like he's going to kick with his right foot, soccer style, but kicking with his left foot.
And it was in the midfield drive for the Cowboys in recovering the football. A minute and 28 seconds to go, and the Cowboys have the football.
That play meant different things.
We were just hexed by the Cowboys.
depending on your viewpoint.
If the lottery had been in play, I would have run out and played the lottery. I mean, everything was just going the right way.
A 15-point fourth quarter lead. And after 3 more snaps from Staubach, kablooey.
The throw is into the end zone, and it's a touchdown to the tight end. A touchdown in there. No, Ron Sellers. The Dallas Cowboys have taken the lead for the first time this afternoon.
After the game, guys rolling on the ground, jubilant.
17 points in that fourth quarter, my friend, for the Cowboys is what did the trick. What a stunner.
It was devastating in the sense that they weren't as good a team that year as they were in the previous years. And this guy, Roger Staubach, comes in, and the Cowboys beat the 49ers again. It just wasn't meant to be for us to beat them.
That epic comeback in '72 helped us blossom into the NFC's best team on and off the field.
For us, that collapse to end the 3rd straight playoff loss to the Cowboys sent San Francisco so far into the wilderness, it would take almost 10 years to return.
After it happened, Dallas was only known for one thing.
A dark page in the annals of America has been written to the crack of an assassin's bullet. A nation mourns, the world grieves.
That day altered how the world viewed Dallas, and it seemed like nothing would ever make it right.
The Dallas Cowboys NFL franchise gift to that city and its people was that it changed the perception of that city.
They appear on television so often that their faces are as familiar to the public as presidents and movie stars.
I was actually a Cowboy fan growing up. You know, I loved the star, and they were just bigger than life, you know. Tom Landry was this cool, very classy coach, and they had all these great players.
Dallas Cowboy was setting all the standards. They were setting the standards on the field. They were setting standards in new ideas and promotion.
They are the Dallas Cowboys, America's team.
The thought that the Cowboys were America's team made some people in America root for Siberia.
I did not like Dallas. I hated Dallas. They talk about America's team and all the beautiful cheerleaders and stuff. No one ever talked about the 49ers cheerleaders. They usually had to wear like a, a raincoat or... No offense, 49ers cheerleaders. Nobody made a porno with 49ers cheerleaders,
What's the favorite team back in Japan here in America?
Dallas Cowboys and Pittsburgh Steelers.
America's team, huh?
Yeah.
And so this was the first popular thing that was really associated with Dallas, which had been the place that murdered the president, until the TV show.
The same year the name America's team was born, so was Dallas. It made South Fork Ranch and J.R. Ewing known the world over, and became one of TV's most famous shows. And to think, if not for the Cowboys, it might have been called Waco.
When I wrote the pilot, I didn't specify a city. It was my producing partner who I gave him the pages. He said, I already sent it in. I said, it said untitled. He said, no, I just took it out and put Dallas on there. But I said, Dallas? I don't know about Dallas. Kennedy was killed in Dallas. I thought, well, but they won the Super Bowl last year, so let's go with it.
The 70s were the best of times.
They weren't the best of times for everyone.
For the 49ers, these were the worst of times.
They were, I guess you could say it, pretty much the laughing stock. People were taking advantage of them, beating them up pretty good.
The Niners gave the Bay Area an empty feeling in the late 70s, and the front page headlines made it worse.
There was the emergence of a new disease that nobody had ever heard of that was decimating a substantial population of the city of San Francisco, a disease called AIDS.
There was news like Jonestown, a massacre caused by a cult headquartered in San Francisco. Then there was November 27th, 1978.
Same week as Jonestown.
Almost 15 years to the day after the Kennedy assassination.
Both Mayor Moscone and Supervisor Harvey Milk have been shot and killed.
And the town was rent asunder. And there was hatred like I have never seen before, all throughout the town.
Good evening, everyone. This city, San Francisco, is in a state of shock and even horror at the events that transpired at City Hall this morning.
People were, it's like their bodies were there, but their spirits were somewhere else. You know, they were terribly distracted. And, of course, we lost.
Here's your basic fly intercepted. 20 Dungy picks it off.
That year, that moment, that was probably the low light of my first 3 years.
Eddie DeBartolo knew things had to change. The second-year owner of the 49ers had come from a prominent Youngstown, Ohio family that ran a highly successful construction company. He wanted to build the 49ers in that same successful image.
And to do it, Mr. D had a clear vision of who to emulate.
Growing up in Ohio, the Cowboys were always the team that they were on TV the most, America's team.
But we've been a winner in everything we've did because we sweat blood.
When I took over the 49ers, I think you tried to pattern yourself after the best. And at the time, you know, the Cowboys, I think, were the best.
Eddie D had a goal of being like the Cowboys. In 1979, he got himself a new head coach to make it happen.
You know what makes it happen for owners and coaches? A quarterback. That's what we needed.
You said it.
A quarterback. A Starbuck to call our own.
Sure, just another Roger the Dodger. Another captain comeback. The kind of man who saves the day on the field 1 minute and does the same at a hospital the next.
I think my mom and dad were expecting a girl for whatever reason, so they had all these girl names planned out and thought out. And, you know, I'm not a girl. I came out a boy, and so I think 2 or 3 days had gone by, and I was still baby boy Hill in the hospital. And so finally, Roger Staubach came by, and you know, I guess like a good quarterback, took charge of the huddle and determined and came up with Grant.
The system was successful before me.
When Roger retired unexpectedly after the '79 season, there was hope things might be different when the Niners played Dallas without him. We got that chance in 1980.
They ran us out of the state, and you know, I do think they ran the score up.
Could have scored more, actually, and didn't. But the fact is, we didn't intentionally run up the score. They let us run up the score because of the fact the way they were playing.
The Cowboys had this arrogance to them. And Bill Walsh talked about it in the locker room after. Remember this. Remember how this feels. Don't ever forget 59-14.
Our 45-point loss in Dallas in 1980 had a long-lasting impact on how Bill Walsh talked about the Cowboys.
This damn Dallas team, they can't keep their mouths shut. All they always like is make damn press releases out of Dallas how they're going to kick somebody's ass. And you never play the real Dallas team, as you know. Every time you beat them, it's because somebody was missing, because the plane didn't have the proper food on it, whatever, the accommodations weren't right. Something, some reason, they lost the game other than getting their ass kicked. So I hope by the time we play these guys, we're reminded of this bull. Everybody in the family is sick and tired of their proclamations and what they're going to do.
There was one negative from that game for Dallas. We routed them so badly. The next week, Walsh made a quarterback switch from Steve DeBerg to a skinny second-year guy named Joe Montana.
Amazing, isn't it? How the Cowboys helped insert Joe into the lineup, just like they helped get him to San Francisco in the 1979 draft.
So there they are. They've got Joe Montana rated number 33.
Joe Montana has been the come-from-behind quarterback for Notre Dame.
And so he's the highest guy on their board. Now, 999 times out of 1,000, they would just blindly take the highest guy off their board. But they had Staubach for what they thought was another couple of years. They had Danny White, so they were feeling pretty good about his replacement. And then they liked their third-string guy, Glenn Carano. So Landry said, let's not take Montana, because if we do, I'll probably just end up cutting him.
So Landry took a tight end, Doug Cosby, who, along with the rest of the Cowboys, got their first good look at that quarterback they passed on in Week 6 of 1981.
Joe Montana, who hadn't even played in the 1980 game, riddled the Cowboys secondary for 314 yards. It was the Cowboys' turn to be embarrassed.
And Bill was throwing the whole game, all the way to the end.
You watch that safety, okay?
It was a payback. You know, they had run it up on us, so we weren't going to lighten up on them any.
And when you can beat a quality team like that, it does a lot for the psyche of the team. And, you know, we needed a lot of that from the 2 years or so before where we had been. It was great to be on the other side of that.
The year before, losing to Dallas torpedoed our season. That year, beating them sent us soaring.
Last season, the 49ers won only 6 games. This season, they have the best record in the NFL. Yet no one outside the Bay Area knows who these guys are. The no-name Niners.
Yeah, we're not quite known as America's team. We're just kind of a who are they situation. But, you know, maybe in the next couple of years, some people might know a few of the names of the guys in this team.
To the surprise of no one, Dallas again advanced to the NFC Championship game in '81.
The young 49ers were hosting it, and history was along for the ride.
All we heard about that week from the fans was, you know, we've been here before. The Cowboys have knocked us out in 70, 71, 72, so, you know, we got to get over this hump somehow.
There was no way that they were going to beat the great Dallas Cowboys. And I can remember people starting to say, well, they've had a great season. I mean, they came from 6-10. Remarkable that they came this way.
You know, people make comments and people say things, and
the 49ers, they've read the newspapers. They read that Ed Too Tall Jones didn't respect him even after they beat him 45-14.
I question anyone having a lot of bravado before a game. I really do. I don't think it means a thing, but it does attract a lot of attention.
Bill Walsh said to me, you know, I really don't want you talking. He said, you know, this is an awful important game. I remember him telling me that. And
I heard Dorsett on the television saying that if they come out here, that it's going to be vindictive. And all I can say to him is they ate it once, they can eat it again.
Surprised to hear an owner even talk that way. So maybe that may, you know, I thought they were a little more classy organization than that.
This afternoon, the football 49ers stand just 2 steps away from a Super Bowl title. Their hurdle today is more than formidable. The Dallas Cowboys, a team whose tradition is as rich as San Francisco's is barren.
We needed to win that game and win that Super Bowl. We had a lot of veterans on the ball club. So anytime you have that many veterans on the ball club, you need to win, because it's never a guarantee you can get back there again.
Landry looked pretty good when Cosby caught a touchdown that gave us back the lead late in the fourth quarter. On the road, less than 5 minutes to play, and we had a 6-point lead. 6 points until our 6th Super Bowl berth. Against a quarterback, remember, who'd never faced the fire before.
Some script, huh?
Tense as two teams on a tightrope.
Dallas, as you can see, has ruined some great San Francisco dreams in the past, and they're leading 27-21.
It felt impossible. America's team, 89 yards to win the game. I mean, this is when Dallas was great.
That's how it always played out in the past.
That dadgum 49er team, that last drive that they had, I mean, it still bothers me to this day.
And they give it to Elliott, and he's got some daylight. And remember, they're playing with 6 defensive backs. And here goes Lenville Elliott.
They were running the ball with backs that I didn't even know who they were.
And Lenville Elliott.
I didn't even know their names.
Back to live. The pass to Dwight Clark is good.
They wanted just a little bit of yardage. They wanted to keep us on our heels on defense, and they did a heck of a job of it.
Solomon inside the 15.
There was a timeout. I'd had the flu that week, and so I went down to a knee, but I could hear him talking about sprint right option coming up.
We're going to call a sprint option. He's going to break up and break into the corner. Okay. You got it? Dwight will clear.
So we were, talking about it in the huddle, and Joe was saying, Freddie, I'm going to come to you. And then as we're breaking the huddle, he's like, Dwight, be ready.
Tom Landry is 6 yards away from his 6th Super Bowl. And of course, for the upstart 49ers, they're 6 yards away from Pontiac. 3rd and 3. Montana looking, throwing in the end zone. Dwight Clark. It's a madhouse at Candlestick with 51 seconds left.
Dwight was so slow. Took him forever. I always joke with him and go, God, it took you forever to get back there and slide.
As I started back across, Everson Walls was right beside me. He had me covered. I remember seeing the ball coming and thinking, wow, that's pretty high. Joe just put it in the exact spot that it had to be. Just another magical play by Joe.
I always wondered, how come you never see Joe in the celebration shots with Clark?
That goes back to the regular season meeting in '81.
They had said we didn't play the real Dallas Cowboys, so they didn't respect us. Joe just immediately spins around, suddenly starts going back the other way, and you're going, hey, Dwight's that way. Where are you going? He turns around and gets in Too Tall's face. He said, respect that, blankety blank. It was pretty cool.
It came off my tongue, It's not typical, but it was going on with everybody throughout the game, so there was always talking going on in this game.
All those bitter memories against Dallas wiped away by one magical play.
I've, of course, replayed it 153 million times in my head. And I'll be dadgum if he doesn't throw a floater. I thought the ball was an incomplete pass.
When I saw it go out of Joe's hand, I started walking back to the line of scrimmage. I said, this ball is overthrown, get ready for 4th down. I will always believe that Joe was throwing that ball away and just living for the next play.
I was actually on the 10-yard line at the other end of the field. I mean, I still think old Joe was throwing the ball out of bounds, but throwing it away anyway.
Wow, those guys are just so cocky.
They can say what they want to say, and obviously we're going to believe what we want to believe. And I believe he was throwing that ball away.
I would have thrown it away a lot earlier than that. If I was throwing it away, I certainly didn't want to get knocked down if I'm going to throw a ball away.
We had practiced this play so many times, I knew exactly what Joe was trying to do. Bill liked the play.
Dwight is in here sliding back out. This is great when they're tired and they're confused and they want to get back to Dallas. This is when you knock their ass off.
Joe couldn't do it in practice, but in a game that gets you to the Super Bowl, on his back foot with 3 guys in front of him, he puts it in the exact spot that it had to be.
Hang on. They still gonna get the ball back. My dad remembers, it's still Dallas.
Don't celebrate yet. Do you know the 49ers, what always happens to them?
Still a lot of time for this Dallas Cowboy team.
Don't remind me of 1972.
We had plenty of time left, and that year, we had the best kicker in football. We were down 1 point. We still had plenty of time. All we needed to do was to get in field goal range.
First and 10 from the 25.
It wasn't over yet. We'd pulled off miracles before.
After I caught the ball, I think I got territory to run. Even with my speed, I can get at least another 20 yards and put us in the field goal range right now. But as soon as I caught the ball and took a step, I felt that hand.
Down the middle, caught by Pearson, and Wright had him by the shirt or he's gone.
Instead of another Hail Mary, you got Eric Wright's hand of God.
Today, we call that a horse collar tackle, partner.
You know, that's one of those what-if moments, that you dream about. What if Eric Wright's fingers were, 2 inches shorter?
And he was going to score a touchdown. To this day, Eric Wright's one of my favorites. I mean, I keep telling my family, and my grandchildren, when they see Eric, I say, it's because of that man you have what you have. Otherwise, God only knows where I would have been off into oblivion somewhere.
On the San Francisco 44, 38 seconds left.
So there we were, 10 yards outside field goal range. The catch about to become a footnote in another great Dallas comeback win.
I just remember just standing up screaming, looking at my dad, and my dad was just, took a minute, and then he jumped up. And then we hugged, and like, wow, to beat Dallas in our lifetime. It was like shock. It was like the hopes of a generation of heartbroken dads right there.
And the fireworks are just starting in Baghdad by the Bay.
That loss in that game, I think, really was, it hurt the Cowboys. It was a sign of the 80s weren't going to be as fun as the 70s.
One of the most exciting NFC Championship games ever played. The glass slipper finally fit. Cinderella is alive and well in the city by the Bay.
Eddie, you said that Dallas can eat it again. I guess they did.
No, I was,
I know
when I said that, one of the reporters told me a remark that was made.
Blah, blah, blah.
I have high respect for Tony.
Please just don't call us the best team in football.
I feel as though we beat the best team in football today.
Ah.
And we're happy to be in Pontiac.
2 weeks later, we were the best team in football for the first time ever.
49ers have won it, the team that's confounded pro football observers throughout the year.
The 49ers hadn't won much of anything in their 36-year history, but now, said a fan, San Francisco is #1 in 2 things, being weird and football.
I could truly say that the first Super Bowl victory united a fractured city. People took great pride in something going right. In the wake of the assassinations of George Moscone and Harvey Milk, the Niners helped a broken city heal.
Winning that Super Bowl was great, but for Niner fans, the most special moment in '81 will always be beating Dallas.
We love kicking their ass. 49er fans, they've been through so much pain with the Cowboys. To finally put a stake in their heart felt really good to them.
In Texas, we handled the catch the best way we knew how.
It filled us with something too. Confidence.
That Danny White, he knows he's not going to play, so he's the guy mouthing off. We're going to kick your ass.
When we met you again in '83, we had no fear.
It was a Monday nighter in December, I recall. We were just going through the motions.
That was really the point where the two teams went in different directions. By 1984, we won our second Super Bowl.
And we missed the postseason.
For the first time in 10 years, they would not be going to the playoffs.
The Cowboys were headed off into the abyss. It was the beginning of the end.
for the Dallas Cowboys as we knew them with Tom Landry coaching.
We were just starting to rock.
We built this city on rock and roll. Built this city. We built this city on rock and roll.
Those were great days in the Bay Area. Our own Huey Lewis and Starship were at the top of the charts. The tech industry was taking off. And perhaps the greatest innovator was coaching our football team.
Bill Walsh was a good fit for San Francisco. The eccentric, creative, innovative type of guy.
Say you don't know me. I recognize my face.
And his football team was essentially a football startup. They did something radically different with this pass-happy offense. And they didn't care what everybody else is doing. And that's sort of the persona that we have for Northern California, that they're going to come up with bold new ideas. And they're not going to care that their ideas buck traditions.
The team was a big part of the transformation of the city because they hadn't had a winner there. All of a sudden now there was a winning team, and it all starts from the top. When I look back on it, there wasn't a better owner in the league. And Mr. DeBarlo did a great job of putting together a great organization. He wanted the best, and he went out and got the best.
In the 1985 draft, we outfoxed you for the best of all time.
I was a Dallas Cowboy fan. That was my dream team. As a kid growing up, I always wanted to play for Dallas. And I came very close.
You guys had the 28th pick of the first round, right?
Yep. And you guys had the 17th.
Bill became very nervous. His intelligence from our scouts had indicated Dallas, if they stayed at 17, were considering taking Jerry Rice.
They traded with the New England Patriots to get down to that 16th spot, and my name got called.
The San Francisco 49ers select wide receiver Jerry Rice, Mississippi Valley.
So it would have been great, playing for Tom Landry, but I think it was in my destiny to play under the genius, Bill Walsh.
So you're here.
It sure looked like a stroke of genius when we played you later that season.
A reverse coming to Rice. Rice is faced by Jeffcoat, and that's a mismatch. Rice inside the 15, touchdown.
Barring injury, he's going to be one of the best to ever play.
We were in reverse. In 1986, we finished 7-9, ending a streak of 20 consecutive winning seasons.
Even though Landry is spending a lot of time on the phone these days, perhaps dialing 911, the call for help may go unheeded. As the team's status drops, so does attendance. There were 20,000 empty seats for the Cowboys' last home game. After 2 decades of winning, many Dallas fans will not accept losing.
Sources close to the team tell ABC News that principal owner Bum Bright may be looking to sell.
By 1988, we were 3-13, the worst record since our winless first season back in 1960. And things were just as bad off the field.
It's the biggest financial shakeup in the United States since the Depression. More than 200 savings and loan institutions have already been closed, merged, or sold.
Oh, come on, Rev. H.R. Bum Bright. His oil riches helped him build a massive financial empire, but economic realities have humbled Bright, and now his own Bright Bank company's just been taken over by the feds. He's short of cash and now having to shortchange his promise to keep the Cowboys to pay the bills.
Bum Bright's hard times put a Texas treasure on the auction block. And like in San Fran back in '77, an outsider swooped in for the prize.
If you haven't guessed, may I introduce Jerry Jones.
Thank you, Tex.
Jerry's first move was a doozy.
Tom Landry, the only coach the Dallas Cowboys have ever had, was fired tonight after 29 years on the job.
Y'all, you look like you're in pretty good shape. You're dressed for the occasion. You look pretty sharp, too. The funeral?
It was tough to see our iconic coach go out like that.
Our legendary coach was in his last year as well.
At the 10-yard line, 39 seconds remaining.
Though his was a decidedly happier ending.
Back to throw Montana. Steps up, throws.
There was one bright spot to that day for us.
Was this the final game on the sideline for a great coach, Bill Walsh?
In the Lone Star State, we weren't shedding any tears for you. So long, Billy boy.
There was one Texan who seemed to enjoy our victory.
And Jerry Rice, I've heard there's a new TV series coming out based on your Super Bowl performance. Miami Rice.
That's bad.
Not as bad as things were about to get in Big D.
They say the hole in the top of Texas Stadium was so God could watch his favorite team play.
Who says that?
Well, as 1989 began, God's team was in the hands of a new earthly steward.
Well, someone upstairs, and I mean that very much, has given me my time, and they pitched the ball to me, and I'm going to see if I can run with it.
Welcome to Valley Ranch, Coach.
Of course, Jerry then lateraled the ball to his highly motivated new head coach, Jimmy Johnson.
Look at me, I can't.
Even though we were coming off our third Super Bowl championship, we were in the same boat.
Bill has stepped down as head coach. George Seifert is our new head coach.
Hiring Seifert were kind of a formality, weren't it?
Not as much as you might think.
Bill obviously had George in mind because he was a defensive coordinator.
Tell him who you were considering, Eddie.
I thought of Jimmy Johnson, and we talked about it.
He wanted to hire Jimmy Johnson when I was hired, and I could see why Eddie would be interested. Jimmy had had great success in college coaching, but to this day, you know, I felt like I was the right guy for the job. You know, I've inherited something that's to be cherished and taken care of. We've had a successful formula, and I've been a part of that.
That successful formula and our new state-of-the-art training facility in Santa Clara were of great interest to your new owner, Mr. Jones.
Do tell.
When Jerry bought the Cowboys, I got a call one day. Jerry would like to come out, if it's okay, and spend a couple of weeks learning how you did things. And I said, absolutely, fine.
Well, I had such respect for Eddie DeBartolo and their accomplishment.
The 49ers were the gold standard at that time.
I knew where they had come from when he got involved, as unaccomplished as when we got involved with the Cowboys, so I saw a kinship there. We had a lot in common.
Maybe in the owner's box, but not on the field. In 1989, we cruised to the league's best 14-2 record.
Meanwhile, we were a 1-15 laughingstock.
And I had been thoroughly critiqued and criticized over what we were doing to the brand.
This season's gone, and you have to wonder when football will be back in Dallas.
Nothing made the critics crow louder than when Jerry and Jimmy decided to trade our best player 5 games into '89.
3 days after the Herschel Walker trade, we met you guys for the first time in the Jerry Jones era.
There he is. A lot of pressure on Jerry Jones trying to turn things around. Pressure by Haley, and the ball slips out of his hands.
And as you guys might say, it weren't pretty.
Rusic's kick is blocked. Look out. Johnny Jackson is gone.
Black 59 laser.
We capped '89 with another trip to the big game. In Super Bowl 24, we didn't just claim our 4th Lombardi, we set a new standard for excellence.
Taylor! Touchdown 49ers! The complete route.
John, you and I have been around this game of pro football a long time. I was just thinking, this might be the best football team that I've ever seen.
This 49er team has everything, and I don't know that it isn't the best team that's ever been.
While you guys were bathing in your accolades, we were down here trying to rinse off the stink of a cow chip of a season. But like Eddie D, Jerry was a maverick, and that outsider status gave him a fresh perspective on an all-American rivalry.
I have a Norman Rockwell painting. It's called The Toss. It's his most famous football painting. And it has two football players there. One is named Jones. It's in blue and the other's in red. Every time I look at it, I see the 49ers and I see the Dallas Cowboys.
In Rockwell's masterpiece, the two rivals stood toe-to-toe.
Entering the 90s, life wasn't imitating art. The two teams had never been further apart.
True, and few would have guessed then that just around the corner, the rivalry would undergo quite a renaissance, making every meeting a toss-up. The first 30 years of the Cowboy-49er rivalry produced 2 Super Bowl championships for Dallas and 4 for San Francisco.
In part 2 of A Tale of Two Cities, the rivalry transforms from a two-city spectacle into an attraction for the entire football world.
It was box office material. When you put that on the marquee, it's 49ers versus Cowboys, everybody's going to tune in and watch it.
This will be my first football game. I know Joe Montana's supposed to be really great.
I don't think Dallas deserves to be called America's team.
We accomplished great things in San Francisco last year, but we have to move on in life.
It was a special moment in time. Whoever would win that conference title game was going to win the Super Bowl.